We start with the League of Ireland sides in Europe. AZ Alkmaar 2, Shelbourne 0, and Shamrock Rovers 1, Shakhtar Donetsk 2 were the full-time scores. Obviously disappointment from both sides' perspectives to not get anything from the games, but heads held high, I suppose, is the report card for both.
They played respectfully very well, and it's impressive considering the standard of opposition. AZ Alkmaar high up in the Dutch league.
He looked so lonely in that last shot. It was funny. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I was laughing at myself. Anyway, sorry, go on.
How was it?
There was a previous shot. Jojo, go back to that previous shot there. Actually, just to show how lonely
he's got no mates there. He's got no mates.
All the friends.
No mates.
All the friends. Yeah.
But
there's
anyway,
my agent.
Yes.
You know, I put product in the hair there without looking.
Did you? Right? It looks great.
And I was just speedballing it to an extent there with Ken and Jojo, and I was let's just see how this looks in the thumbnail.
Looks good.
What's it saying there about?
You were saying there about Shelbourne and Shamrock Rovers.
Dutch League. Oh yeah, AZ. So they're doing all right in the Netherlands, and Shakhtar are always a classy side. Like they always have this kind of Brazilian flair to them. And crucially, both those sides are in season, and Shells and Rovers aren't. I was wondering how beneficial or otherwise is this to them. Owen Doyle was asked last night that very question by our own Cathal Milani on commentary.
Yeah.
And Owen would be of the opinion, and you take his word for it, that the players love this. They have a bit of a rest now. But that was Shamrock Rovers' first game since the FAI Cup final when they beat Cork City at the Aviva Stadium. That's 2.5 weeks ago, is it? And Shells haven't played in similar length of time either. So they did very well considering. As for Troy Barrett, could have had a hat-trick on another night. So he has a chance at the back post, particularly in the second half. He swipes at one in the first half, and he has another 1-on-1 in the second half. And then, just before the end of the game, he tries to score from the halfway.
Yeah.
Because he's just so dead. He was just so like you knew he was. This was just like his own personal moment against Irish opposition. Just let me at this when Alkmaar have the game won, and that goes wide. But look, they did very well. The big chance, the big regret would be poor old John Martin this morning. And we had another John Martin in studio here this week.
You did,
but the playing version of him was put through by Meepo, who had a great run down the left wing. Skinned the fullback.
It's like the Gareth Bale run a little bit.
It really was. With the camera angle too, it was the Classico thing. And then the pass across to Martin. And you know, it's one of those things, and I say everyone's been there when they played football themselves at whatever level, is you think about that chance repeatedly.
Oh, first touch.
What would you have done? Should I have taken it first time? Should I have brought the touch back in? And he kind of just did a bit of nothing.
Yeah. Probably in multiple minds as to what he was going to do.
Yeah, and then minutes later it was all said and done. And then as for Rovers, it was interesting because Michael Noonan was on the bench, Graham Burke was among the replacements, but they still went two up front. John McGovern had chances in this game. Lovely goal to half the deficit as well by Rovers. But after that it was actually Shakhtar who looked more likely to score again. So the deserved team won both games, but Shells and Rovers played very well. I don't know what that will mean to them.
Yeah.
Probably very little for Joey O'Brien and Stephen Bradley, respectfully.
We'll probably hear from Mark Hoyle at some point during the show. We've a clip to play, but he was speaking after to Stephen Doyle, or not to Stephen Doyle, sorry. He was speaking to us, and he was kind of saying that they're kind of fed up of this whole, you did well out there, lads, but not getting a result thing, and the underdog tag and all that type of thing. They're kind of fed up at this stage. The start to the Conference League hasn't been amazing, but they have had some decent performances, but at some stage they probably need a win if they want to progress on. But
it's just
it must be frustrating.
It's a weird. I suppose it kind of is a lonely feel for them as well, for Shells and Rovers this part of the season, because they're not playing any ball, and for all intents and purposes they should be enjoying their post-season exploits, particularly the Rovers players. And they obviously love this playing in Europe. That's what it's all about. Like, sure, Pico Lopez was asked about who would you like to get in the World Cup for Cape Verde, and it was like, Brazil, it's the World Cup. So that's what they're here for and all that. They'll become better for it. But I was just watching last night thinking, like, how beneficial is this for them when they're slightly out of practice now?
Yeah.
You know, but maybe they see it as a rest. Maybe they see it as a positive thing.
You cannot underestimate the quality of the opposition that they're facing as well. So Shakhtar are just looking obviously top of the Ukrainian Premier League, as they tend to be, and then AZ are third in the Eredivisie, 4 points off Feyenoord, who obviously lost to Celtic last night at home, and 10 points off a PSV side that just beat Liverpool 4-1 at Anfield. So there's a lot of quality there as well in that Dutch league, and for Shelbourne to be pushing them close.
And there was the other thing about Shells last night in the Netherlands, playing against that team who were high enough up in the Eredivisie. They were playing ball.
Yeah,
they were knocking it about in the middle of the park, particularly to the point that you remind yourself that, geez, the Irish side is the one wearing navy.
Yeah.
It's not Chelsea's Red. They're in Navy, and they're playing serious ball here.
Yeah.
So much more than you see from the national side. That type of intricate passing centre midfield. It's really good.
Yeah.
We'll obviously get into this as well with Keith Tracy and maybe a bit less with Keith Friday. There's a few other topics for Keith Friday this morning, but for Evan Ferguson obviously came off the bench for Roma last night as well. The two lads obviously on the score sheet last weekend, both Troy and Evan. But good to see Evan getting a bit more game time now. Obviously he had a hard period there with Roma, but he's kind of hopefully going to see that goal push him on to bigger and better things. They had a win last night against who was it? It was against Midtjylland, who were unbeaten by the way in the competition. So a 2-1 win for Roma. Evan Ferguson came on in the 61st minute, so he's getting the minutes in the legs, bit of confidence back as well.
I was hoping he'd start because Dobbik is injured. But they had Pellegrini up top, and Pellegrini was out of favour with Gasperini at the start of the season, but he's back, and they kind of have Dybala as a false 9.
Yes.
But Roma top of the table in Serie A. They're flying it. Can't argue with it.
Even if he stuck around, picked up a winner's medal, whether he scores that many goals or not, you take that experience. We'll hear more from Daniela Fisichella later on about Evan.
Roma and Napoli play this weekend.
Yeah, this Sunday.
Plenty to talk to Daniela about, including right. We were chatting with this pre-show. It was like, who is the most iconic Italian player of the last, say, 35 years? So we'll go Italian 90 onwards from the context of saying Scalacci against Ireland, right? Mm-hmm. And so, in other words, if FIFA were having some sort of ceremony where they had one representative from each country, who would be the most prominent, who's the most heroic,
in a Hall of Fame type thing. You're not saying the best Italian player necessarily.
Who's the icon? Who's the guy for them, right? So candidates would be the likes of Paolo Maldini, Roberto Baggio, Alessandro Del Piero, Francesco Totti, Gianfranco Zola, Gianluigi Buffon, Fabio Cannavaro, Alessandro Nesta. That's what we're talking. Andrea Pirlo.
Yeah.
Who is the one? Who's the guy?
Do you have one that immediately comes to mind?
I think it's really difficult to pick one.
When you mention
for Italian, I think it's easier for other countries. But for who is the man for Italy? So I'm not going back to, like, say, Dino Zaff era. I'm just, for the sake of putting a limit on this.
Getting loads of shouts here in the YouTube comments.
Who is the... that's what we want, right? So we're going to ask Daniela Fisichella about this, who's going to have a more educated opinion.
Yeah.
Than us about it. But I suppose that's what we're asking from the Irish perspective, or wherever you're from out there. It was like, who's the guy? Who's the one? Because I find it very difficult to separate, like, Totti, Del Piero, Maldini, because Maldini's the best defender ever. Del Piero is Juventus. Totti is Roma.
Yeah. For me, when you said that this morning, Francesco Totti was the first name that came into my head, because he doesn't just he's not just emblematic of Roma, he's also
sexy.
He's sexy, but he's so Italy. He is so Italian. One club man, obviously. A number of Serie A player of the seasons, quite a number of Serie A player of the seasons. Just looking at his caps there, like, he only had 58. Only, says I. 58 caps for Italy. Probably would have thought in our heads that he had more, but he still won, a World Cup, in fairness to him, in 2006, and what a career. But Totti was the first name that comes to mind.
It is lighting the flame in people. Rory Larmour has been in personal touch.
Okay.
Immediately said,
I would say Rory Larmour, man of culture, probably said Maldini.
Totti.
Roberto
Baggio. Okay.
I know what to say, Roberto, like Mancini, but like Mancini, is he a bit of a conflicting figure? Because Mancini was a hell of a player, won Italy the Euros, won the Premier League at Man City, like, incredible CV, talismanic figure. Lazio, he was there at Lazio when Sven-Göran Eriksson won the Scudetto in 2000. But is Mancini the guy you put out there to represent Italy at this fictional award ceremony?
If you're saying Totti, if you're saying Cannavaro, Gattuso as well. Nesta.
Keith Friday has just texted me from the production box saying, played against Totti.
Oh, right, we'll get that story. Yeah.
So who is it? Are we collating enough here? Is there a winner at the moment? Is there someone leading this?
Cannavaro's getting a good few shouts. Totti as well. A couple of Pirlos in there.
It's like, do you know that the game that pops up on social media when you see this jersey, this football jersey? Who's the first player that comes to mind? I think the answer to this for you is when you're asked this question, immediately one person will come to mind. And who is that person? Don't go to your second answer. Don't think about it too long. Who is the number one?
Okay,
For me, that's Toddy.
That's what you want
Mine's
to hear.
Pirlo.
No.
I'd say Pirlo straight away.
Okay, interesting.
Buffon.
See, you'd be a different generation.
Yeah, different
So
perspective here. Yeah.
you wouldn't have watched as much of Toddy. But Pirlo for your generation is obviously.
I would have seen a bit of both of them, but yeah, Buffon and Pirlo.
yeah,
would be in my mind
Pirlo
more.
was kind of going along nicely, minding his whole business, so to speak, and everyone realised, oh, he's a brilliant midfielder. And then Euro 2012 changed his life when he dinked Joe Hart in the penalty shootout. And from that point on, he was like, oh, this guy's an actual legend.
Yeah, he was in all the Nike ads back in the day.
And then he crucially grew a beard at the same time.
Yeah,
He got beards cool.
good looking fella.
Terry Kelly, and this name did come into my head. I was trying to think of more recent ones. Come on, Balotelli, just for the crack.
I'm here for it. I am absolutely here for that. Balotelli's pure talent alone.
Gianluca Vialli says,
Jesus, hell of a shout. Poor old Gianluca.
yeah.
Is it? This might be controversial. Is Chiellini in with a shout?
Well,
The
that's
Euros for
that's,
like a certain generation.
Do you know what award that would be? And it's incredibly insulting because it's like the greatest servant. Do you know what I mean?
The
It's
John
like
O'Shea
this guy,
award.
he would do anything. He would do anything.
veteran.
For you. No, I see. He's more important than John O'Shea was. I think Chiellini was like the backbone of that defence.
Yeah.
But he doesn't. I don't think he has anything to go past all the lads that we mentioned.
Yeah.
Like the
No,
prominent
he did not,
defender of the last 35 years is. Are we settling on Cannavaro?
For in Italian purposes,
35 years. But then Maldini, so Maldini never won the Ballon d'Or, but Cannavaro did. But does that mean Maldini doesn't get it?
Cannavaro captained the team to a World Cup. Yeah. That's tough. Massimo Taibi, says Jim.
Well, he came up. We resurrected the great name of Taibi recently on this very show.
Zola, Inzaghi, and Vieri fall just short of the other names.
Yeah, and Pipo then is the most he has his own category of the biggest celebrator of his own goals. do you know the 2007 Champions League final, the lesser known Milan-Liverpool one, right? He scores both goals in that game and Milan win, and one of them hits his back like when there's a shot happening, and he goes away like he meant it, and he's going mental with you. And he just loved. This guy was obsessed with scoring goals.
Yeah,
just loved it.
Loads of comments coming in.
I feel like we're missing someone because I'm going to look up Italian footballers and just see who comes up.
In the meantime, just to confuse matters, right? Just to confuse matters here. Dara's collated a few comments from last week.
Yeah, go.
Just to bring this in, right? Dara, is this the answer to the question of the best Irish sporting moment?
Yes.
Right. So Carlinho had David O'Leary's penalty against Romania in Italia 90.
Yeah.
So this is when we had Keith in. And this is obviously after Paris.
It's obviously very... people have their different answers to this. This is very personal.
Duiker said Mick Jacobs' goal against Kilkenny in 2004. See, I like that, because that's very personal.
Yeah.
To Duiker, whose work I'm unfamiliar with, I have to say, on YouTube.
Me also.
Fergus Keogh, Mick Jacobs' goal against Kilkenny in 2004, exactly the same, and Eamon Coughlin in Helsinki 1983. Terry Kelly says 55 years old he is. My five in no order: Eamon Coughlin, Sonia O'Sullivan, Katie Taylor, Ray Houghton in 1988, and Troy.
See, that's interesting. A 55-year-old has picked Troy Parrott in his top five. That just because obviously some of us maybe a little bit younger could be accused of recency bias.
Yes.
And you don't remember the older things.
Correct.
Terry is 55 years of age, and if he's saying Troy Parrott, then that kind of puts it in a little bit more perspective.
And Massey said Stephen Roach winning the Triple Crown in 1987. By the way, days of the week, right? Fascinated by them, obviously.
That's one of Miss Rachel's songs, by the way. Sorry, it's just in my head.
Nottingham, Miss Rachel, what a woman.
What a woman.
What a lifesaver.
She deserves a lot of credit, by the way.
That woman is.
Yeah, if there's Mount Rushmore of people.
Yates, the Nottingham Forest midfielder. Yeah?
Yeah. Sorry, yeah.
Last night scored in Europe.
Yeah.
They won again, Nottingham Forest, very handsomely. They're doing very well. Keith's boy, Sean Dyche, flying it. He has now scored every day of the week for Nottingham Forest.
Love that.
And it was put to Sean Dyche, and he was delighted with that. So we have loads of those coming in. And then just one other shout from me before we move on. Martin O'Neill last night was Celtic. They went to Feyenoord, won fairly handsomely on paper, 3-1. Robin Van Persie is the manager of Feyenoord. His son Shaquille made his debut off the bench.
Shaquille.
Bop off him.
Yeah, very similar. He is a spit of his da.
But Celtic won, and we had Tom English on the show yesterday. It's a very enjoyable chat about what's happening with Celtic at the moment, and Martin O'Neill, a new manager, is coming in imminently. But we all agreed, I think, Celtic are away in Europe tonight, so it's not going to happen. And they win handily.
Yeah.
So Martin O'Neill, with the exception of that Michelin game, which is a bit of an aberration in this interim stint, has done really well. Confirmed afterwards that the Hibs game this Sunday in the Scottish Premiership will be his last.
Yeah, Easter Road at noon on Sunday. That's going to be interesting. Interesting to see what he says after it all, because obviously the day before he was brought in, he was asked, and was it one of the podcasts, he was asked who's going to win the Scottish Premiership? Oh, probably Hearts. Next day he's the Celtic manager, and now they're only they're 4 points off Hearts with a game in hand over them.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's really like.
And there was trouble at Villa Park. Did you see this?
Villa Park with the young boys
fans, yeah.
Malin got hit with a cup, was it? Scored 2 goals.
Malin.
You weren't happy with him.
Can't let young boys into the stadium, you know.
It's a good point.
So that happens, but it was vicious fighting. Villa won, and Palace lost.
Palace lost, yeah.
But they had 1 or 2 players rested. So for instance, Adam Morton came on, but he came on after half an hour.
Right.
And of course, there's another 12 noon game for you on Sunday against Manchester United. It's a very difficult game to predict.
I think
Palace are a better team, but it's hard to know what United.
Sellers Park is nearly scarier Monday 8 p.m, isn't it, than Sunday
and
noon.
That game has tended to be at night time the last few years at Sellers Park, that fixture. Do you ever go there, by the way? Sellers
Never
Park?
been to Sellers, no.
It's class.
Is it?
It's very kind of parochial.
Do they have anything? It strikes me, Sellers Park was the Canton Kung Fu kick, wasn't it? Do they have anything to mark it? You know, on that side of the pitch, they should have a plaque.
No. I know it's nothing to celebrate for Palace, is it?
No, but it's an iconic football
went to court,
moment.
like,
yeah.
It was a legal case, and it was one of their fans who got head kicked in.
Yeah, look.
But you're right, though. There should be something there, because it was iconic.
What an iconic
A hell of a stadium, though. Very, very tight. And glad all over. What a tune.
That's the
What a tune. Yeah.
Like Shells, so obviously Shells, long odds that they have to make the knockout stages by beating Palace now and NK Chelsea to come. So, not going to be an easy task for them to beat Crystal Palace. But
no, it's only Rapid Vienna who are below the 2 Irish teams in the Conference League. But you can't be too critical of them.
No,
and look, we'll talk to Keith about that. But it's an interesting morning to talk about it, isn't it?
It is.
So people out there really care about this as well. At this stage of the season, outside of supporters of Shells and Rovers, is there an appetite for that this morning to talk about it?
Yeah.
I'm sensing that everyone's like, oh yeah, this is still on. Do you get that?
About the Irish teams in Europe? Yeah.
Or do you think that there actually is interest there?
I think we're just still on a high from the Troy Park stuff, and any club football generally is kind of just taking a little bit of a backseat.
I really enjoyed the Shells game last night.
Yeah.
And the same with the Rovers game. Watched the Rovers game.
The comments are coming in wild, lads. Will we come back to those comments maybe on the Italian stuff?
Before we move on, should we do a GAA?
Oh yeah, do the draw.
Yeah,
I was all over this last night. Myself and Dara obviously having a back and forth. Monaghan and Cavan representatives here. The Ulster Senior Football Championship draw, perhaps the most intriguing. It usually is, and was once again the most intriguing of all the.
We just tend to care a bit more than everyone else, I think.
About the draw generally.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say.
So you look at the Ulster draw. We'll start there. Standout is Armagh Tyrone in the preliminary round.
Yeah,
certain teams can be drawn in the preliminary round. It's kind of on a draw basis. Certain teams have been there more recently. But Armagh versus Tyrone in the athletic rounds in the Ulster preliminary round is that is an appetizer. And then
it's a nightmare fixture for both of them, really.
Isn't it? Then the winner then plays Fermanagh in a Ulster quarter final. The other quarter finals: Donegal at home to Down, Monaghan home to Cavan, and Derry home to Antrim. Then the semi-finals, you have the winner of Derry Antrim against the winner of Monaghan Cavan. And then the other side of the draw, nasty enough, the winner of Donegal Down against either Fermanagh, Armagh or Tyrone. So Donegal, Armagh, Tyrone all on one side of the draw. Monaghan, Cavan, Derry probably happy enough to be on the other side of the draw.
Definitely, yeah.
So Ulster, how do you feel as a Cavan man about that one?
Look, the Monaghan draw, we always want that one. Shades of 2024, hopefully again. Will it be in Clonus? I think
that'll be a Clonus game.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. We've a pretty decent record in the first round against Hughes for some reason,
especially in recent years. Yeah.
I love that. I love Hughes.
Hughes, yeah. We would say Monaghan would say Hughes as well as instead of Yee. Cousins from Galway all say Yee.
Yeah.
You say Yee?
Oh, Cork's a big Yee.
Yee.
Yeah.
Hear ye. Yeah, but like.
And the prospect, if we do get through that, Derry or Antrim in a Ulster semi-final is pretty good. Like, that's as good as it kind of gets.
Yeah.
Really.
Especially in Ulster. Like, Derry are going to be licking their lips looking at that draw as well, in fairness.
Yeah, 100%.
But it's one of those funny draws.
How are you feeling about it?
The rule of honour pops up at the start on the draw, and it's like, in fairness, it's a healthy look for Cavan. And nice to see Monaghan there enjoying second. Like Cavan, I think it was at 40
on the dot.
40 Ulster titles. Then you have Monaghan and Tyrone on 16.
Yeah, there's a big gap there.
There's a big gap, and it certainly won't be in our lifetimes that gap is equaled, I would imagine.
I'd hope I'd see us, stretched out a little bit as well.
Yeah,
probably won't.
Yeah, you pad it out, and then obviously we'll get to the Munster draw.
Well, I can only listen on and envy to the competitiveness and interest in this conversation, because the Munster football draw, everyone's like, so what?
Did you care about this draw?
No, fair play for the GEA for breaking the hearts of the other counties, but also making it interesting, being like, we're just going to fix this draw so Cork can carry avoid each other to the final, which just happened anyway. So they got what they wanted, but they didn't need to be shouting about it in the meantime. Because I know, all jokes aside, for the rest of the counties in Munster, that was terrible. It was awful.
It was awful, Joe.
Yeah, in fairness.
So they got what they wanted indirectly. But Louth Dublin could be interesting, because they could meet each other early enough, couldn't they?
Yeah, in Leinster, preliminary round in Leinster, you have Carlow, Wicklow, Westmeath, Longford, and Offaly Laois. Nice Midlands derby. In the quarterfinals, Kildare play the winner of Offaly Laois, Meath against the winner of Westmeath, Longford, Louth against Wexford, and Dubs against Carlow or Wicklow. Dubs will be happy with that, in fairness. And then if Dublin win that, they play Louth, or Wexford in the semi-finals, and then you'll have either Kildare, Offaly or Laois against Meath, Westmeath, Longford in a Leinster semi-final. In Munster, as you said, you've Tip at home to Waterford and Limerick home to Cork in the quarterfinals. Semi-finals, Tip or Waterford against Limerick or Cork, and then Clare against Kerry. Yeah. And then what did I miss? Connacht. Connacht quarterfinals were ready-made. Two of them, New York against Roscommon and London against Mayo. Sligo Leitrim was the other one. And Galway will be the happiest, I think, in Connacht, in fairness, because Galway got the winner of Sligo Leitrim in a semi-final, and then winner of New York Roscommon plays the winner of London Mayo in a Connacht semi-final. So yeah, I watched the draw last night. I was interested in the draw last night, and kind of whets the appetite, gets you. We're going to have obviously the Dr. McKenna Cup back this year, and the FBD leagues and all that, which I think is welcome.
I think Cavan Monaghan were playing in that as well.
In that as well. Yeah. Yeah, in fairness, Monaghan Cavan for Mana, I think is the.
When is that?
Group B. That's good question. It's usually start of January, maybe into late December. But yeah, it got the GA Anoraks tuned in last night and watching it. It was who was on the draw? You had Soupy Campbell was on the draw. You had Michael Meehan, one from each province. Michael Meehan. You had Mark O'Shea and someone from Ulster. Who did I miss out? Kerry. What province? Oh, Sam Mulroy was in. Mulroy was in. Yeah.
Our friend.
Yeah.
The show,
He was actually picking so he picked Louth's draw. Interestingly enough,
we whetted his appetite there during the week.
True. Yeah.
Did you listen to that?
I did, yeah.
He was interested about the future, isn't it? About
the professionalism, etc., etc. Yeah.
Do you know about this Carlinhos fact? Start of the show.
No, go on.
Since you're talking about Christmas in November, which is weird that our Christmas party is tonight.
November 28th.
Should be next Friday by all accounts. Yeah. But anyway, we'll embrace it. Fun fact, Christmas starts in the first week of September in Philippines.
Right.
So he's already Christmased out.
Jeez.
I like that Carlinhos always includes the Philippines flag.
Like that,
when he mentions the country.
Bit of pride.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. A lovely flag as well. So
I have visuals on Keith Tracy.
Okay, yeah. Just want to mention, it's also 15 years to the day since Leslie Nielsen passed away.
No way.
Naked Gun, Airplane.
Do you know...
actually met him 5 months before he died as well.
Did you?
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah.
Purposely?
Shook his hand, got a photograph over at a convention in Birmingham. Big fan of Airplane and Naked Gun.
I want to get the publication right. A movie critic buddy of mine... As in this guy talks about films professionally. Sent me on. Variety. Variety's listed the 100 best comedies of all time. Number 1 was The Naked Gun.
Naked Gun. Unsurprised.
Can't really argue with it.
Yeah, it's hard. It's so quotable, you know.
There's something about there was such a warmth about him.
Yeah, and he had 30 years of serious acting and then 30 years of comedy, but
he was also serious in his comedies. He never played for laughs. Yeah, that's the best thing about him.
Worked, you know. Whereas we're here desperately looking for laughs. Just not working.
Yeah.
So Keith Friday and Keith Tracy standing by. Who do we do first? But who's usually
we have
first
the formal guy in first.
We have the formal guy in first.
Keith Tracy
will be with us first.
Keith Friday is a figment.
Yeah,
of No Fix the Boat.
Okay.
Wanders the land, nomadic.
Right, we'll speak to both of them after this.
Keith Tracy has a PPS number.
He does, right? Okay. It is first at 7:58 a.m. on Friday morning's Off the Ball Breakfast. Before Keith Tracy and Keith Friday, time for the cash machine.